This is SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by SWBC Mortgage. Solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit SWBC.com. Now, your host, Shannon Gross.
Wednesday night on 105.3 The Fan, and that can mean only one thing. My favorite time of the week. It's time for Cowboys Crosstalk live here from Cowboys Club in Frisco, Texas, where the lights are bright, but the Cowboys' future is even brighter.
Yes, sir.
Can we give it up for 6 and 1? Let's go.
Cowboys, baby.
Who's ready to party?
I'm ready.
Let's party, baby.
The man to my right is definitely ready to party from 105.3 The Fan.
Yeah.
The great Will Chambers is joining us tonight. Welcome to the show,
Thank
Will.
you, my friend. It's good to be back with some old friends.
Yep. And to your right is the great Nate Newton. How you doing tonight, Nate?
I'm doing fabulous, man. Tap the brakes on the party. Let's just y'all finna maybe do a whole segment on why we should tap the brakes. Come on now.
You know what? We'll party without you. We're partying tonight.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And to your right, you want to introduce your former teammate and our guest of honor tonight?
I'm gonna let you do it. You've been doing a great job these last few weeks up until tap the brakes. But go ahead on.
All right.
Yeah.
Our special guest tonight, George Teague. How
Yes,
are
sir.
you, baby?
Yes, sir.
How you doing,
Yes, sir, man? I'm doing good. I got since I'm on the right, I got my foot on the gas pedal. So
All right,
we're
let's
getting ready
go.
to crank this
Let's
thing.
go.
He got the
Right.
brakes over here on the left. I'm on the gas
They
pedal.
gotta maybe pump the brakes in the locker room on the party. We do not.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
Because these seasons don't come around very often these days, so I am going to enjoy it while the ride lasts. Before we get into that, what are you up to these days, George?
I am the athletic director at John Paul II High School in Plano. I'm not coaching the football team anymore. So
Okay.
last time we talked, I was actually the head football coach, and now I'm not. One of our former teammates, I think he might have played with you, Mario Edwards.
Yeah.
The cornerback is now the head football coach there.
Okay.
Wow.
I hired him. Yes, I
Right.
did. And so that's what I do along with my podcast.
Are you a hands-on athletic director?
Yeah, I've been on the sideline a few times.
All right, so that means only the presence is required to send the message.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He had to think about that one a little too long. It's like, all right, how do I answer this one? So we'll go ahead and talk because Nate's trying to get his weekly
No, I
tweet
got
out.
it, man. It's out. It's out, baby. Let's
cut
go.
it.
All right.
Let's party,
It's
baby.
in record time.
To support the show.
Let's
So
party, baby.
all right. Well, you know what? Let's start with, we were all skeptical before this week, I think, of the game. And, oh, no, when Cooper Rush starts, Minnesota's a tough team. It's on the road. Let's give Cooper Rush a little bit of love, man. He went up there and took care of business. George, what did you watched the games? What did you see out of Cooper? Were you impressed, for what he needed to do? He went up there and did it, right?
I was, and I'll say I was nervous beforehand.
Okay.
In all honesty or whatnot, I was kind of worried about how this was going to look. Mike Zimmer puts together pretty good defense typically. But the way he moved the ball around and the way he managed the game, taking what they gave him, giving he didn't try to force anything, right? And I don't think he got nervous at all. I think he felt comfortable. I think he had enough people in his ear trying to relax him. So I thought he did good. I graded him out well. I felt very confident when it was tied up 13-13. I was like, man, we got a really good chance to be able to win this game. And I think that had a lot to do with the defense. So why you look at me like that, man?
No,
What's going on?
I'm waiting for Will. I'm handing this to Will.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You
So
made,
then
him, you
you'll
made him
love-
mad when you said you had the foot on the gas. He's ready to move on from you and over to Will already. So
Now all of a sudden, Nate's putting it in fifth gear and he's ready to go faster than everybody. Here's the way that I would characterize this win, and I wonder if you guys agree with me on it. That, seasons will be defined, or will define a team by what they do, obviously, in the playoffs and all that. But when we look back on the regular season and what game defined their season, I think this will be the one, and I think for a couple of reasons. One, the obvious, they win without Dak Prescott, but also they win without their, starting left tackle. I mean, Tyler's only in there for a few minutes, and you had Terrence Steele on the other side. I know Lyle was back. That's significant. But what the Cowboys have right now at this point in the season, their direct competition is no longer the Giants, the Eagles, or Washington. Their direct competition are the L.A. Rams, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Green Bay Packers, and the Arizona Cardinals.
And one more you forgot.
Themselves.
Thank you, Shannon.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Shannon.
Boy, he is. Now he's like full gas. He's
ready
right
to
on
go
the
now.
play.
He's ready
One
to
more.
go now.
Teague, we've been here before.
Yes.
You've been here in college, Green Bay, and with Cowboys. You've been here. This team saw a situation. It was just like when Jason Garrett. And I know y'all may not like that name, but we had that a few years when I played with Jason Garrett came in. Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, the young number 88. These guys stepped up, man.
Yes.
They made plays for this kid. They was not going to let this kid fail. Gregory just gets better and better and better. So this
Zeke
team,
with the play of the game.
Thank you. And that's what
There's
this
different
team
type of
is-
leadership.
yeah.
They're
Yes,
showing
sir.
this stuff on the TV right now. I think there's just different type of leadership that we haven't had in the past, where people are trying to step up, take some ownership. It's the stuff that we had back in the day, where guys would hold each other accountable, strongly.
Doesn't it have a different vibe than what it has in the past when this team has been enjoying success, and it seemed like they are really enjoying success? The vibe, from you guys would know better than me, Nate. You're in there. It doesn't feel like these guys have gotten ahead of themselves.
the coaches tap you. I was saying tap the brakes. I'm having fun. But the coaches will slow you down. Good coaches will slow you down. The players, Dak is he's extension. You know what I'm saying? But they got a young defense. They got a hyper young defense. And you're going to have to tap a few of these guys. You're going to have to start moving around a little responsibility like they did with Parsons. They saw where he got kind of slow. So they moved some of the responsibilities to another guy to help him. Now he comes back to life. So your coach, that's your coach's job, to make sure that you don't lose it. And I'll give you a perfect example. I remember one year we had some success. Then next year we wanted to have shirts. We wanted to be the first original Hot Boys. The offensive line. Jimmy said, Jimmy, he didn't do it in front of the media. He didn't do it in front of the whole team. He pulled all the offensive line together. So look here, fellas. We got something good going here.
That's right.
If you think that this could be big, wait till after the season and we've done what we needed to do. And then this thing will overflow. And we backed out of it. And at the end of the season, there was so many other things going on. We forgot about the T-shirt.
So, Will and Shannon, I can say I personally heard that the time that I was up here for the OTAs with the Dallas Cowboys, and I got to sit in with Dan Quinn, what Joe Witt and those guys were saying, with George Edwards, Leon Lett. It was just the conversations that they're having with those guys about having something special and being able to be really great. Yeah. And so I know that they are reeling them in, keeping them humbled to a sense like, hey, don't get ahead of yourself. Here we are, 6-1 now. I'm sure they had some pretty, you're going to feel good as a player. And like,
yes,
hey,
sir.
Man, we're invincible, whatever. We just did this with Cooper and having people down, not having our left tackle. But, I know that they're focused, and the coaches are helping with that too.
Yeah.
It may seem little just because it's talking about social media, but I thought that, I don't know if it was a tweet or an Instagram post that Micah Parsons had put out with that clip of Michael Jordan.
Right.
That tells, from The Last Dance, of basically not really looking at the great of what you have done, because Micah Parsons, I think he knows that, he can look great on the football field for 99% of the game, and then you're going to have a play or two, and that could make all the difference in the world. And to have that mindset as a rookie, I think makes a huge difference.
Man, y'all even know how good Michael Parsons is. I mean, we
Tell us.
talking
Why
about
don't you tell
him.
us?
Good
Tell
Lord.
us how good he
And
is
how
from a
big this
defensive
dude-
guy.
So I was looking at some of the film, and I saw him make a read. It was to his left, to the defensive left. Went and go tackle the running back out of the backfield. I don't know if y'all guys saw this or not, but he literally ran over LVE.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like everybody was moving in slow motion except for
Get out of my way.
For him. You're right, and that's this natural instincts. I know it comes with film study and probably understanding tendencies and all that, but when you see that, I mean, I'm sitting there going like, good Lord. I mean, this guy's all over the place.
Not once, not twice, but
Yes,
three
three
times.
times.
I'm telling you, I went back and looked at the film. I'm looking at number 55. He is dissecting the play. He is breaking it down. He's engaging into the offensive lineman. As soon as he went to release, just flew by. Not one. He did this 3 times, and LVE wound up tackling him in the back.
Yes.
I say, wow.
Yes, sir.
That's very, very unique.
When you jump off the screen and you're on the field with other NFL athletes, that says a lot.
Yeah, especially when you're a rookie, first of all. And I know he's good. We always talk about, he wouldn't have got drafted where he was. But just the things that he's doing, the attitude that he has, the confidence. He's a leader. He's that spark for the defense. I know you got Trayvon Diggs and others making big things going on, but what he's bringing to the table
baby,
is something that we have not had in a long time.
And Nate, you've talked about when you're an older guy, a veteran, not older, but older in football terms.
Right.
And you see these young guys, CD stepping up, Trayvon stepping up, Micah stepping up. As the older guy, what does that make you do?
Bro, you got to reassess your situation because the coaches are.
Yes.
When is the last time? Yeah, and I'm talking to y'all out there. When is the last time a coach called a timeout so his stars could get back in the game? See, that ain't happened around here in a long time. We see all our stars over there when it's closeout time. When it's time to make a difference, we see our guys standing over there. And I be asking, why is he standing over there?
Right.
But that ain't happening no more because Parsons, Diggs, Randy Gregory, they ain't standing over there in the biggest moments.
They begging to get on the field. They begging to get on the field.
They begging to get on the field. So now a veteran guy, oh my God, man, they going home pinching their white to my babe. I got to pick it up now.
I got to make this money. I got to make this money, baby.
Look, it's been talked a lot about, some of the problems that they would have, or the coaching staff, Mike McCarthy in particular, about time management stuff at the end of halves and the end of games.
Right.
That was, as big as Zeke's play was, that was a huge, huge right call to get that timeout and to get those guys back in the game, which made that finished it off.
I tell you what, hold that thought. Because I want to talk about Coach McCarthy, because this fan base and the local media are really good about criticizing, but I don't think they're when credit is due about the little things.
They won't give it
it's
up.
a little harder to get that. So there's some things that we've all noticed the past few
You about
weeks.
to get that credit from me.
Yeah. So let's get that credit
Was
when
that
we
a
come
subtle
back.
shot at me? I don't know.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not
don't
at
worry
all.
about it. The Braves won.
We're going to
Braves
take our first break. When we come back,
down with Astros.
Let's talk
Up
about
with the Braves.
Coach McCarthy and a lot more Cowboys football when we come back. You're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
is SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star.
Back to the show. We are partying up in Cowboys Club here at the Star in Frisco. You're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk. Shannon Gross, Will Chambers, Nate Newton, and our guest of honor, George Teague, joined the show.
Let's get it,
Before we get it, George, did you know that at SWBC they have customized solutions for individuals and businesses, and they're just a click away?
I clicked on them today when I was on your website.
I was going to tell you to click on visit SWBC.com to learn more and start your next adventure. But George has already started his adventure and finished it. So now we get back to football. So I made a little joke earlier. I said the local media doesn't like to give credit where credit is due. I did that just to get people's attention. I really don't know if they do or not. I do know that they like to criticize when, things don't go right, as they should. That's our jobs in the media, right? But the little things, I want to get y'all's opinion on, McCarthy's been talked about time management and, timeouts and clock management and things like that. But the little things, and one thing I noticed last game, end of the game, Randy Gregory's hyped up. He's mad. The personal foul calls, he's kind of getting out of it. He's getting out of control, and Coach walks out, and he doesn't yell at him. He walks over, puts his hand on him, tells him, hey, check back in. And he was saying that in two ways, mentally and physically.
Yeah, check back, yeah.
And Randy went out there and took care of business. And I think what's not talked about enough is in the locker room, you got a lot of young guys. You got a lot of new guys. Like Nate said, you got a lot of energy. And to keep all that in check and get these guys where they are and kind of, the culture's a little different. You mentioned it earlier. It's a different vibe, a different feel. How do you guys feel about what Coach McCarthy's done here in his, this far in his second year?
Well, I'll hit it. I'll say that, first of all, that play that you were talking about, I actually saw it unfolding. I was like, man, Gregory's about to go off the hinges over here. He's getting upset. And then they give him the little gap charge, and he goes in and he hits the guy in the backfield and, totally disrupts the play. That was awesome. Job our coaching. And you got my blood pressure up a little bit because I've been talking about this, that we don't give head coaches enough credit, Coach McCarthy enough credit with the way this is going. Right, we're continually talking about Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, not enough about this organization. Sure, there were some things that went wrong early, time management and all that. But again, just like you guys, watching practice, being out there, you can see that they're working on these things. 2-minute drills, how to get rid of the ball, working with Dak, and all these kind of things. So I think it's just putting the process together. And we need to give him a little bit more love for where we're at right now at 6-1.
I'm going to tell you something. When he first walked through the door, Coach McCarthy, I say, there's all our offensive problems solved. So for 2 years, I'm crying and whining and not knowing that he said, nah, Nate, chill. I'm going to let this young guy, and I'm going to help him along the way, Kellen, be a better guy. Now everybody's healthy. Now you see Coach over there doing the little things that Shannon talking about. Doing his job, and you forget this sometime here in Dallas, his job is to coach the coordinators.
Manage people.
Coach the coordinators. Coordinators coach their position coaches, and everybody get it. And if he see a problem, that's where he steps in, a la Gregory. You know what I'm saying? A la the young guy who jumps outside on the field goal block. He ain't finna get that little Gregory guy. And then when he said in his press conference today, I do not discipline my players according to what y'all think. I discipline my players according to what needs to be done at that time, and my job is to win games, not to satisfy you. So I like that.
Yes,
well,
sir.
A lot of it is because of, and the criticism comes because we can see what some of the things that, garnered criticism,
Right.
rightfully so. We don't see, the majority of us do not see practice. We do not see the game plan, being initiated. So, I think that we should be able to point out and maybe do a better job of when certain things come out, like that play that you're talking about with Randy, like that timeout, to make sure that the right personnel is on the field. And that's also part of the narrative of how we try to, give our thoughts on the job that Mike McCarthy is doing. Look, as a society, you don't watch a newscast and they don't give stories on all the planes that landed at DFW. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That's not news.
That's not.
So it has a tendency to be negative.
What is news?
When something happens.
Being a great coach is news.
Oh, that
I knew he was
I'll let
coming.
you guys go there.
No, because I want to go back to the flights because I was one of the ones they messed up and cost me a deal with my coach this past weekend and cost me $10 doing my show with him. Yeah, so I'm not happy. But anyway,
Well, that's
I'm
news
sorry.
too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When stuff goes wrong,
Yeah.
that's what news is.
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
that's what we, talk about.
Yes, sir.
Because it can be somewhat, boring to be like, well, hey, how well did you execute that off-tackle play?
Right.
There are things that we talk about within the context of a game that you do bring up, but I think it is important to have both sides of that. And sometimes it can be unfair, and especially to quarterbacks, coaches, point guards, the guys that are the
Cornerbacks
leaders.
and left tackles.
Because what we don't do, though, is, and you're right, you're exactly right with all of it. I just think that we pick and choose on which coaches we want to give the props to and not. Because we can find coaches, I'm not saying Mike McCarthy is Belichick, but we can always say, man, that Belichick defense and that Bill Belichick offense and all the stuff that he's doing, or blah, blah, blah. We uplift him in a position to be able to do that. And
We do that with Coach Zim.
Mm-hmm.
We do that with Coach
We
Zim.
do. They did the defense and all
and-
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And you know what? And he got torched.
Yeah.
He's been getting torched. It hadn't been going as well as he needed to have. And
Right.
so I just think we got to find the balance is maybe what I could say that, we're as reporters, analysts, and all that kind of stuff. We got
And we all
to
that now.
give our news. We got to do that.
Don't be
We gotta
afraid
give
to
this
say
thing
for
news.
what it is, just because, it's really hard sometimes to say, like, well, Bill Belichick, this was awful. This defense, it's getting a little bit better, but they've gotten torched. You're right this year. And
Yeah.
at one point we have to go, okay, we can still criticize Bill Belichick without having to say, well, he's not a very good coach. So conversely, I think it's true as well as to giving Mike McCarthy credit on, the things that have gone really well with this team.
I think we're winning well over here, man. What's going on, man?
Did I flip?
But sports is fluid.
Yes.
Sports.
Yep.
Because
I've heard that before.
Yeah, we've heard it about a lot of people. But I tell you like this, what's so exciting for me is now the coaching starts. I'm telling you, this game and the next game, the coaching starts.
Okay, so to that point, Will, you said this in the first segment. For the first time in a long, long time, they're not competing with the Eagles, the Giants, the Washington football team. I tell you what, if they don't win this division, this is one of the colossal collapses ever in sports.
Burn this tape of this show. I'll say that.
But so you're right. They're competing. They're playing right now. They won't say it, but we can say it.
Right.
Playing for home field advantage. You're playing for the playoffs right now, right?
Yes, sir.
So I know where you're going with this, Nate. How do you keep this team in check? Keep them focused. Keep the eye on the prize without getting to the playoffs here in the beginning of November. Because I think I heard someone say that today or yesterday, mathematically you can have the division clinch on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, today. That was brought up today. But how did y'all do it? Because he went to Bama, so he's had success. Mm-hmm. Bama, how did y'all handle it? Green Bay, how did y'all handle it, man?
Well, the same way we handle it here. The coach got to come in sometime and really basically check you. Even when it might not be fair or necessary, walk in, like you're saying, hey, pump the brakes, man. We ain't that good. We ain't won it. We got some goals. So, when you get at this level or any level where you're playing high ball, the coach can walk in and be able to say, man, you got your first quarter of the schedule that you got to try to win. Hey, we want to be this. Second, and so we're trying to set ourselves up for home field advantage because we don't want to be in Green Bay.
No.
In January.
No.
We don't.
No.
Regardless. So
we've been there. We saw how that turned out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, man, when we were, that was 96, I think.
Right.
When I know we didn't want to go up there and play.
No.
We ended up losing to North Carolina, the Panthers or whatever,
Right.
because, man, we're thinking about, man, we about to have to go up here. Anyway, I think it's just that as long as McCarthy or whoever it is comes in and really checks these dudes, right? I'm saying that in a way of calming them down and say, man, we still got some goals. We're doing exactly what you're saying. We're trying to get home field advantage. This is not just we happen to win the division now. We're playing to try to win the Super Bowl.
And the tone had been set. To give Mike McCarthy credit that, there are times that I'm sure you guys have been in locker rooms at times where you hear a speech and there's guys in there that are, they're rolling their eyes.
Right.
But, and we saw it on Hard Knocks. when he talked about, we're here to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
We're not here to win the division. Oh, then the next step, win a playoff. We go through the process. No, we are here to win a championship. Mm-hmm. And when you set the tone like that, I think that reverberates throughout the room. And the reason why I felt like this was such a season-defining victory is because it was an NFC victory.
Right.
It was against a team that at the moment they were, in the playoff
They're
hunt.
a good team.
So if you're Mike, if you listen to your coach at the beginning of the season, this is about winning a championship. You know that you have to keep pace. All those teams that we discussed, those 5 teams, they're all within a game of each other.
That's right.
So that's where you have to keep the focus on keep moving forward, and where you would hope as a fan that that's what they do.
I'm gonna tell you, I used to be big in my locker room. I was that guy. I would hype in a minute. I would go hype in a minute.
He got dual meaning when he said he was big.
I was going to say,
when he was big in the locker room, he got dual meaning here.
I wasn't going to say it, but since you said it, George, he big outside the locker room, too, Nate.
But I'm serious. And I remember one time, we had just did the Pro Bowl vote, and I made it like 3rd or 4th time in a row. And so I'm hyped. I'm like, this is what we finna do. This is who we are. Jimmy pulled me to the side and said, Nate, I love you, but just ain't the time for it.
You're right.
Calm down.
Sounds like Jimmy pulled you to the side a lot.
Oh, yeah, because I'm telling you, I can get, supersonic height, bro.
Yeah.
Supersonic height, yeah.
But I heard a great coach say once, I would much rather tame a bull than wake a corpse.
Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
That sounds good.
You know what? No corpses on this show.
No.
But we do have to take a break. When we come back, some injuries creeping in, some injuries going away. We got some guys coming back, some guys that have looks like some nagging things going on. I want to get y'all's opinion on what do you do right now at this point in the season?
Eat a French fry. Can we get a French fry?
We can get some French fries. You know what? We're going to eat some French fries, and we'll be back. You're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network with George Teague.
Yes, sir.
is SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters
Back,
at the
Shannon Gross, Will Chambers, Nate Newton, and our guest of honor, George Teague, here at Cowboys Club in Frisco, Texas. SWBC Mortgage. Will, I need you to join the more than 120,000 customers that they've helped to find their happier way home.
I'm on it right now.
No, wait till after the show. Visit
Okay,
SWBCmortgage.com to find a pro today. We need you on this show because we're talking about very important things. We're talking about 6-1 Cowboys. We're talking about some guys that look a little banged up, and I want to know y'all's opinion. What do you do at this point in the season? You've got this East in hand, right? You got Amari looks like he's got a little bit of a hamstring problem. You saw him during the game, grabbed his hamstring after a play. He was loosening it up with the little gun on the sideline.
And a softball, I think I saw too.
Softball. You've got Diggs that's got a little bit of an injury. You've got Tyron that's got the ankle thing going on. You got a couple of looks like a few nagging injuries. When you have the division in hand, do you rest these guys a little bit extra? Do you still go all out? Are you a little more considerate? Obviously, you got Dak, left the biggest one out, but how do you handle player management and time management at this point in the season?
I'm going to say flatly and then give it to you guys because you played and you were on teams, and I'm sure at times when you were going into the playoffs and you had a comfortable area, my perspective is you take your foot off the gas, it is hard to turn it back on.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to go with more the other way of this is conversation, this is coaching to be able to say, to educate the kids, the players, remind them of taking care of their bodies. What am I talking about? Making sure they're getting massages, they're getting the cryotherapy, all the new things that we have that extra time after practice, just don't run out of here. Make sure you're getting the treatment that you need to get to do this. They're professional. They got money. They can do all the extra things. And I know personally, there was games I was beat up, I was hurt. You know what? Instead of getting that Monday massage, I was catching a Monday and a Tuesday. Spending more time in the steam room and all those kind of things. So I think we have to continue. Yeah, you remember the steam room?
I remember the steam room massages. I ain't worried about it. I was too fat to wear. A bruise was a bruise.
They couldn't get down in there deep enough with that elbow. Right? But we're seeing so many soft tissue injuries.
Yes, sir.
Right? So there's other injuries and whatnot, but they're around the league right now. Hamstrings, just shoulders, or whatever it is. They're all soft tissue things that have to be worked on. So, yeah, you can't really you give them some rest as much as you can, but there's other things that you got to do to be able to strengthen yourself, and that comes with Brett Brown and those guys, and make sure that you're doing all the little things to tighten up those little areas.
I agree, man. It's just such a different era, man. I mean, a lot of things we didn't even worry about. I mean, that hamstrings has always been an issue with skill set guys like Teague and those guys. It's always been an issue, but the conditioning is totally different. Guys go off the reservation to get tuned up. Everybody got their personal trainer, this, and this, and that. When we had Warsigan, you just did this thing. We never got hurt.
Please don't say that name ever again.
Yeah. We had different guys who got us in shape, and we never got hurt because they always knew how to get us in football shape. But now everybody don't do that. Now they got their own personal guys. So now you going from zero. You got a preseason game where you ain't played in a preseason game.
None.
You going from 0 to 70, man. And especially if you're a wide receiver and you ain't used to running back-to-back routes, and you have some reason the coverage say you got 2 9s in a row.
Yep.
That means get down the field as fast as you can. That hurts, man.
I think George's point is a very, very big element of it, that you have to approach your time off as hard as you approach what you do on the field in order for you to play at your best on the field. And it doesn't always have to be, like we think about it in an old mentality of getting in the weight room and doing all that.
No, you're not.
It's taking care of your body. And I think the evolution of the athlete that we've seen over the last 20 years, and the reason why we're seeing more of the soft tissue injuries, it might be because they're so finely tuned that maybe they, get a little, softer, more pliable in certain areas. And I think that those are the guys that you're talking about with Brett Brown and those that can lead them in that to go along with the treatment to make sure that they're okay.
I respectfully disagree.
I didn't say like that song.
It has to be a ramp up, and it has to be the right ramp up. You know, you have certain athletes that why they never get hurt. They got the right ramp up.
Yeah.
You know, now you're going to have the injuries, this, that, and the other. But the reason that Amari this year not only mentally is stronger, but he worked with, guess who he worked with the whole offseason? Brett Brown. Did Brett get you right?
Oh, yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
now he's got
Get
an
them
injury.
cords out
He's
on
got
the
an
baby.
injury that normally takes guys out of a season. This is 6 weeks. You just put him on the shelf, but working with this guy who he worked with during the training camp, that's why he's still rolling.
And that's actually what I mean. Like,
Right.
I look at a guy like J.J. Watt, who clearly works incredibly hard.
Oh, yeah,
He
man.
seems to be kind of on his own. And I don't know. Maybe I could be
Right.
totally wrong on that. Guys in the past, I know Sean Lee was such a team guy and such a hard worker. Maybe it's not ramping up the right way.
What you're trying to say is eat more hamburgers. These
Yeah.
guys eat too
I
well
almost
in
went there.
You
I
got to
was
eat
like
some French
a
fries, some
bag
burgers.
full of fries,
Get
like my
some
man
stuff.
over here used to do.
Get some
chops
stuff
and
in your
grease up,
system,
man.
man.
You need a little bit more of a dad bod than just chisel. Is what you're
That's
trying
right,
to say.
man. Yeah.
With Sean Lee, we all know his problem. He was a strong safety playing linebacker.
Right.
That's
Right.
he knew that he wasn't going to be fast enough to be a safety, but he was smart enough to be and could ramp up, and that was his only issue.
So,
man.
Nate, you brought up – great segue. It's almost like you're co-hosting the show with me. You said you got to ramp up. Is that what we saw from La'el Collins this game? What's going on with his playing time and what they're doing with him? What's your opinion on that?
You know, and I hope Steele don't hate me.
Will wants to know
I can't wait to hear the answer.
And I don't think Steele can hate you because you've defended that guy since day
Yeah,
one
I
when
have.
everybody else was down on him.
Yeah.
You were high on him. So
Yeah,
say what
but
you got to say.
La'el is the better guy. La'el, and I know he hasn't played for this coaching staff, but La'el, you can't be an all-pro, Pro Bowl guy 1 year, and then you have a mishap injury-wise. Unless Coach Philman sees something I'm missing here. He is the best. You can move your tight ends around a little bit more or however you do it, even though they're giving him less and less help still. I don't see it. I do not see why this kid ain't starting. And I don't know Coach Philman that well. I know he's done a hell of a job with Steele. He's done a hell of a job putting guys in place that help this thing be successful. So I got to trust him. But this dude is a bulldog, man.
Yeah, I'm going to
La'el's
agree
a
with
bulldog,
that a little
man.
bit. No, of course, I don't know all the intricacies of
Right.
the O-line play up there. All I know is about kick slides and power downs and all that kind of stuff or whatever. Other than that, I don't got a lot of it, but I think that Collins is a tremendous talent. And maybe there's something that's happening in the classroom, the study sessions. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Steele is doing a good job.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking at a situation this week where it very well could mean that Tyron is not playing at left tackle. And so that brings in another element to the conversation where, do you move Terrence Steele over to left tackle, or do you keep him where he is and put La'el at left tackle? How do you guys, or Nate,
You want your
move the
best
guys
five.
around.
You want your best five out there as long as they can handle what's before
Unless
them.
they have a package where they can put their best 7 out there at one time.
I don't like that. I don't like all.
You're not a fan of the wishbone?
You like
I'm
the
not-
wishbone?
Forget all.
The Hulk package.
You know what?
You would have been happy if you was back there
No,
standing at
no. They
fullback.
begged me. They begged me several times to play that. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell us, Nate. We're
All
here
that
for it.
stuff sounds good and well to the playoff start, and it blow up on you. And then all of a sudden, the Hulk package look like he done deflated at the wrong time. No, put your best 5 out there and let them do their job. We have goal line situations. We have red zone situations where a bigger body in the middle will give us a better chance to score when we do decide to run Zeke. Even though I'm not big on running every down in the red zone, I want to throw a little bit because we got Amari.
I don't believe that
Yeah,
now.
no, yes, sir.
I don't believe
Let me
Low left.
no, in the new NFL, it's all right to have the Ezekiel Elliott of the world, that banger in there, but you got to give him some help. These last few times, even with Dak fumbling the ball, these guys was on our side of the scrimmage.
Yes.
That's because your middle is not strong. We strong at one right guard. Our center is good. Our left guard is average. We ain't been playing average middle guys. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So that's where Lyle could be effective at one of those positions, left guard. But I don't know. I don't know what they doing.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
he's talking about the evaluation of the players and really understanding the day-to-day operations of how
they
look
doing
in practice and what's going on and what they're really trying to do. Yeah. So.
Well, it's a good problem to have. We got to say this, at the very least, that you're trying to figure out where you're going to put Lyle Collins because of how well Terrence Steele has been playing. Yeah. Whereas at the beginning of the year, we thought, man, not a whole lot of depth on the offensive line, and it has you a little bit worried. But right now, because you've gotten so much good play out of Terrence Steele, that gives you maybe some more mobility and stuff that, being multiple?
Yeah.
That, Steven loves being able to, multiple positions that he talks about a lot.
Position flex.
Position flex, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, we got to take our last break. When we come back, do you ever get tired of telling the T.O. story?
No.
Good, because I want to hear it. I don't think I've ever heard you tell it live, so I would like for you to tell it on this show.
Oh, really?
And then tell it to the people that have never heard it. And give us some insight of how that whole day went down and how the moment happened. And then there's a football game happening Sunday against the Denver Broncos here at AT&T Stadium. You'll be there, George.
I will be there.
You'll be there. We'll talk about that and maybe some more stuff if we have time. If not, you know what? That's plenty for me. That's plenty. But we'll see what we have time for when we. You wanted fries, now you need a pork chop sandwich.
Just something to grease up there, hammies.
All right. We'll work on greasing up Nate's hammies when we come back. You're listening to Cowboys Crosstalk on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
is SWBC Mortgage's Cowboys Crosstalk.
Check this out.
Broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star.
SWBC PEO, helping to alleviate the HR administrative burden that comes with running a business. Leave the worrying to us. Visit SWBCPEO.com to find out more. And man, does time fly when you're having fun. This is the last segment of the show. Shannon Gross, joined by Will Chambers, Nate Newton, and our guest of honor, George Teague.
George, man.
Yes, sir.
Good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you.
George.
Good to be here. I'm just trying to figure out how I
Now
get
it's
one
story
of these.
time.
How do I get one of these suits like Shannon though, man?
Man, I tell
It
you
is
what.
nice.
I tell you what.
That sponsor got you that, or you
Oh, I
just,
wish.
you rolling like that?
He ain't
It's
gonna
called-
tell y'all the true read how he got all these
It's
suits.
called bargain shopping.
Yeah, he ain't gonna tell y'all. The
Hey,
true
why
read.
you think I'm begging to host all these shows? trying to get my $10 like Nate. So
He ain't gonna tell
That
y'all.
don't
the
look
true
like it
read.
came off the rack.
Dude,
no,
it
that
ain't gonna
totally
tell you
came
right.
off the rag.
He go in the small boy section
I
and
was about
Jason
to say.
Pennis.
small boy. Stop it. My man got Garanimals on.
That's
I
a
ain't
very
got-
special arm length you got right there.
Yeah.
There ain't no way you went and bought that.
No. I have a running joke with Coach Lunda Wells. He's from Baker, Louisiana, and I'm from West Monroe. And we both said, hey, we had to move to Dallas to be able to get clothes like this. They don't make clothes like this in Louisiana, man. So
Everybody got fishing nets and big old rubber boots up
yeah,
to the
blue jeans rolled up,
Yeah.
and then when you grow a little bit, you unroll them a little bit more and put the safety pin back out.
Man.
That's how you.
When
that's how you
everybody
roll.
leaves, you keep that pretty little smile.
So George, over the last several years, how many times do you think you've told the T.O. story?
I wouldn't be exaggerating by saying thousands.
Wow.
Because it is really a topic that comes up daily, every other day.
Does it really?
If there's something on social
Without
media
further
or
ado.
something, it's always. I mean, honestly, it's a lot.
All right, well, do me a favor and walk me through that day and how this all went down and any of the backstory or the little nuances that happened.
I'll
around
give you the
this.
cliff version, and you must have been on a rock if I haven't told you this or if you haven't heard this from me. But you know what? During the game, man, me and Terrell were having a whole lot of conversations. I kind of asked about his mom. He asked about my mom. You know, just being friends
Keeping
or
up
whatever.
relations.
Well, yeah, you know, good PR stuff, and we were getting handed to us, right? It was hot. It probably was about 104 degrees
Yes, it
on that
was.
old turf, right? And my good buddy Darren Woodson got kicked out because he tossed his helmet across the stadium, I guess, because he
Right.
was mad at some stuff, right? So T.O. decides he wants to go out after scoring a touchdown to go claim the star, right? Emmett bounces back, says, hey, man, I'm taking the star back. Man, this is the best soap opera ever, I think, right? So he goes out and takes it. So I'm heated, right? Well, I'm heated with T.O. because we're still going at it. He kind of cheap shot me, Nate, a little
Right.
bit. Most
Wow.
people don't know
For
that.
real.
T.O. talks about that a little bit and said, hey, he was mad because of something that, well, I was kind of mad at that a little bit because he did the, you know, the old brotherly love
Right,
that
right.
when you're going to take a knee,
Right.
you don't hit people, right?
Right.
So we always knew he was going to take a knee, and he got all up in my chin, right? So as he's coming down, we got a rookie cornerback out there who's not all that great. I know he's going to score. I'm looking at T.O. I ain't even playing the play over here. I'm on the other side of the field. I know they're going to throw the ball over here. I'm like,
Right.
okay, what's he going to do? He catches the fade ball, decides he's going to run out to the star. I completely lost it.
Yeah.
Completely lost it, and just decided I'm going with him.
Yeah.
I'm going with him.
Did you know what you were going to do on the way out there? Did you have any idea?
Oh, yes, I did know. It was very calculated, and I knew it was going to happen. And so after I hit him, I was really ready to fight, fellas. I mean, it was going to go all the way down, Nate. It was
Yeah.
going to go all the way
Wow.
down. I'd already made it. And I think the most interesting part that most people don't hear about is what happened afterwards, because I didn't really know what happened. You guys will really appreciate this before we go to the next part, right? So I get kicked out of the game. I've never been kicked out of a game before. I don't know the protocols. No, they didn't
Right.
really say, like, what do you do when you get kicked out? So I'm like, well, I'm done. This is before there's no escorts. They just say, hey, you got to go to the locker room. Well, I go to the locker room. Woody's in there. He thinks the game's over with because he had already got kicked out. He's showering,
Right.
getting ready to put on his clothes. So I'm like, we fussing a little bit. And he's like, is the game over with? I'm like, no, man, it's still the third quarter. Man, I got kicked out because of you. We doing this kind of stuff. So I jump in the shower, though. I leave. I'm leaving out the
Right.
stadium. I don't know what to do. Game's still going on.
Right.
While I run into my brother, he's getting kicked out of the game at the same time. Right? He's in the stands fighting.
In the stands.
He's in the stands fighting. So
Wow.
we're both getting escorted out. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you know?" So we're having this conversation, and so I had to wait for my family to try to get out of the deal. And I didn't know it was that big of a deal or something
Yeah.
until we started watching on TV and we started
Right.
getting the replay. So next day, they come in. They say, "Hey, you know, I'm really happy for what you did, George.
Right.
I would have did it too." And then they hit me with "but."
Yeah.
But we got to find you
Yeah.
because you got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
Then it hit. It's
Yeah.
coming out of your check tomorrow. All of it.
All of it.
So here I am doing these shows right now, trying to make sure I get my $10 back toward my fine.
How surprised was
burger, man.
T.O.?
Oh, I
Do you
think,
think
it totally,
when you got to
I
him?
think it totally caught him off guard. He wasn't expected at all, and that's why he just kind of went back like, really? Would this just really just kind of happen? So we haven't spoke. We have not talked one bit. Even when he came here, I did try to speak to him on the sideline at the game. Nate,
For
he
real?
looked right over me.
Wow.
Wouldn't shake my hand, wouldn't do anything. And that was about the moment when I said, okay, that's
Shot never.
enough of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. Man.
What a moment.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
What a
'cause
moment.
I've never heard that live. I've heard.
At least
I've
it was
heard
a family affair, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your
that's-
brother didn't get fined.
No.
Wow.
No, he
Nope.
did not.
Nope.
Real quick before we get into the predictions for the Broncos game, what are we going to do when Michael Gallup comes back? Because I'm a big fan of Cedric. I love Michael. I'm a big fan of Cedric Wilson because my man doesn't drop anything.
You know what, Shannon?
And he's
I
fast,
love it. No, I love
and he
you,
can throw
Shannon.
the ball.
Malik Turner. Is I got it right?
Yeah. Look,
Me and him-
he was
me-
my pet cat in
Me
training
and him in
camp.
training
and Cedric,
camp. We
Cedric
was doing the
stepped-
show together.
Here we go.
yeah.
And every morning we ride to our show. And every afternoon we had another show. We ride. I'm telling y'all, Cedric Wilson is the man. And Schultz was his guy. Him and Malik Turner.
Yep.
My guy was
Jarwin
Blake Jarwin
and Cedric.
Cedric, okay.
You know, we fighting we arguing about. Now all of a sudden, Jesse, 4th and long, likes him. Now he likes him.
Oh, man.
I never disliked him.
No, I never disliked Schultz. I never disliked Schultz.
So where does he fit in? Where does Gallup fit in? It's a good problem to have, right?
To me, this ain't the same as Lyle. And this ain't the same as Lyle because,
He been out so long.
this is the difference. What does Cedric Wilson do? What does he do not do? I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Right.
He plays special teams.
Yep.
He's your slot receiver. He's your outside receiver. And you had your head coach say 3 weeks ago, this is one of the few guys that I really cherish because we do not have to give him maximum reps to understand what's going on. What do you do? I've been a Michael Gallup fan forever. All I ever wanted Mike to work on was make sure he can catch the 5 and out. Yeah, I know you can catch the bomb, but Cedric catches it all.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
What do you do?
I mean, it's another embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
I mean, and not to mention all the stuff that you just said. How about that seed he threw? That pass.
My
was-
man's 4 for 4 in
Right,
passing.
right,
I mean,
right.
Efficiency. So
You know, it's something that honestly needs to be determined maybe after the season. You know, I mean, I know you're kind of asking about like game plan and stuff like that. That's for them to figure out because when you've got that many playmakers, that's a good thing to have. As far as Gallup moving forward, I would just think that save that for the end of the year.
He got to stay number 3 receiver.
okay. Our brass tacks moment is right now and is presented by Liberty Tax. Liberty Tax is a proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Join the team today at libertytax.com/hiring. Real quick, we got about a minute and a half. Will, I know it's Wednesday, but we need a prediction for the game Sunday. Cowboys versus Broncos. What do you got?
38-10, Cowboys.
Wow.
That's strong.
Yeah.
That took some brass tacks.
Well, that's saying
Look,
that.
they 25 sacks they've given up this year. That's, third most in the league.
You
Denver.
saying that with Dak or not with Dak?
With Dak.
Okay, yeah. So with Dak,
Yeah. I might contract that.
37-10 with
Maybe a few more field goals.
1 minute.
1 minute. All right, I'm going 34-17.
that with Dak?
That's with Dak.
With Dak. All right. What you got, Nate?
It no matter who in there, we're going to win this by 1 point. No matter who's
Every
in
week, I think I'm going to get
By
a
1
different
point.
answer.
1 point.
1 point every week.
That's all that matters.
there. I need 16 games by 1 point, and I'm sitting where I need to sit.
I don't know what the over/under is.
This ain't the college football playoff committee that we got to worry about.
I'm with
My eye test telling me 1 point.
I'm with you, fellas. I think this could be a trap game, but Nate, you talked me out of that. You said no way. I'm going to go Cowboys 31-12.
They stopped serving cheese up here. They serve it at the stadium.
Oh, man.
They stopped serving cheese up here. Just
Will,
'cause of
thank
guys
you for
like
joining us. Nate,
You got it.
always great to have you. George, thank you for joining the show, man.
Yes,
it was
sir.
great.
I appreciate
This has
it,
been
guys.
Cowboys
Man,
Crosstalk on the
guys.
Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Boom, boom.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this,